I don't really know where to start. I feel extremely sad that I fucking couldn't see the help. And I let the side busters and the hate affect me. It did, I have to own that. Or I wouldn't look like this. I've been crying for 4 days now. I can't stop. I've had a really hard life. I'm going to share it with you all because I don't know what else to do. And I didn't want to do this because I don't like being judged, but it's already happened, so what do I got to lose? That's what I asked myself. What you got to lose, bro? Everyone always telling me shit. You know it's like that? People like message you, I'll rape your wife and kid. Your wife's been raped twice? It's scary. Like, I'm not trying to go to jail again. Learn from the past, so it's like, how do you deal with it? You call the police and you try to reason. They don't do shit. Odds are it's them. I've always loved God. No one taught me. I just had to learn that shit. It's not shit. You know what I'm saying. I'm sorry about that. You know, like, my dad slaved me and beat me. I don't even talk about it. I'm going to give it to the world. I've never been... My father is and honestly, like, he just popped up again recently. And last time I saw him, I tried to forgive him and be his son. It fucking pushed me off of him. And he's like, hey, yo, that's enough. It was the only hug I ever got from my father as a man. And I just came home from the system, and I wanted to just find family and forgive them for the hurt they caused me, just to try and heal us. No one, not even my stepdad, he called it a frivolous dream. What it's like to go to your family and try to salvage them. And they tell you they hate you. You're nothing. You're fucking, whatever. They called me whatever. You know, my mom gave me up when I was young because she left me home alone. My real dad came with an AK-47 to kill me as a child. She would go get ice cream. I was scared. No one was there. Even after my mom left the monster, it never changed. My mother remarried and fell in love and got new kids, and I was like this burden. I was supposed to be a gift. I pretend like this shit doesn't hurt or doesn't bother me. I had to let them all go. My granny, she never did nothing wrong. You know? But because my family is so fucking crooked and they're so evil, all right, they fill your head with shit in your head. They fill it with lies. They told me my real dad molested me my whole life. I believe that. I grew up believing that until I made my own decisions about them. They convinced me my real dad did shit that never happened. My own mother. So she could get leverage, and then when child support checks would come for me, they said he never paid. I hated him for it. He paid. They stole it. You know, it's like to have your family say, hey, man, your dad don't pay, so you get hate. Your mother? Man. And then wonder why I don't want him. If I was ever going to find peace, I had to walk away. I had to walk away. And then seeing my old man pop up recently, it really upset me. Because when I walked away, I forgave him. I yelled and I told him, crying, I can't. I'm too old now. I want change. I I'm going through a metamorphosis, I guess. I don't know. I'm not a stupid man or a crazy one or whatever. I'm a man who's filled with many hardships from those who were supposed to be the hands that loved. And it's like you just can't win in a game that you're losing in. And that's life. And life's a losing win game. It's an uphill battle. I try to take a better road to make a difference in the world, but in the end it's like, my wife smokes weed, and I told her flat, I gotta quit. I can't. Look at me. My eyes are red and puffy. I've been wiping tears away for days. I told my wife, you gotta quit. I took it on my stride so she could save her apartment. She smoked before she went to work, and I took all the heat. That's because I love her, and I'm trying to help her out. Our marriage is in shambles because she's going through so much. And I'm like, trying to help her and help myself and hold the fort down. It's real hard without ever having anyone there. Everyone's like, whites are privileged. I am not privileged. I never was. You know what it's like to be slaved by your old man in Big Bear, underdressed for snow? You know what it's like to have a cat carrier with a hole cut in it put over your head? You know what it's like to be shoved into a cat carrier as a 5-year-old? All right? My family abused, used me, and even after they threw me away to the government, they embezzled money with a false social security attached to my last name and my stepfather's. That's fucking wrong. When I was in prison, all right, and locked up, they were embezzling social security, and I reported it to the state before I left. I had my wife do it, and she gave me the receipt and proof through contact. But my payees were stealing the money. This whole systematic situation for me, it sucks because I remember being the boy I was when I was younger. I was so kind and charismatic and happy and full of life. I remember being young. I remember all the pain, but that's why I blocked out a lot of my childhood memories, because most of them are sad. You know what it's like to have your parents be like, yo, let's go to the beach today, fam. And then they throw you in a group home and leave you there. You never know when you're coming back, and the group home beats the shit out of you. So I was beat as a child, beat as a baby, and then beat as a teen, and then I was fighting grown-ups because no one was protecting me. The cops came and saw fingerprints in my neck. His name was Henry from Oak Grove. He strangled me almost to death. I was suspended in the air, and their strangling, I started kicking his chest and fighting back for my life. I was 14. They matched his fingerprints to my neck, the whole thing. It was an ex-Navy SEAL and picked me up as a child and fucking, you know what I mean? I stopped talking. Everyone's like, he talks too much. There was a large time where in Oak Grove, they thought I was nuts because I stopped talking. They were like, we're going to throw you away, bro, in Provo because you don't talk. And now I talk too much. It's like I don't understand what the world really wants. I worked hard every day. I read, I study, I educate. My biggest problem is that when I quit all my serious drugs when I was real young, I was like 18 and a half or whatever, and then cigarettes at 16, okay? I always leaned on weed as the crutch that helped me do it. I never considered it to be a problem too. But I don't want to go to hell, and I don't want to burn, and I don't want to lose people I love. I've lost so much in my life, I can't continue losing. My dream as an artist was to fulfill Jesus's wishes. And people like Martin Luther King, they'll like try to build the conscious minds, because I understood pain and oppression through trials and tribulations. I thought I could pay back to society. When I first started making music, it was real cute and positive and fluffy. But what happened is that I started getting these death threats, and I'll rape your wife. See, my wife's been raped twice in her life. Once as a child, so she understands like hard times too. So the first thing I'm thinking is, whoa, his name was Soul Mason, and then Soul Brother. And the thing that sucks is, like, there were other people that came up. His name was Plunkton, to my defense, and I didn't even get the defense. I did my best to defend, and I only had one other guy's name. I think his name was Plunkton. And they just like, I'll kill you, I'll do that. I have pictures of it. I have proof of still all of it. I have the entire live stream. They know who they are, and I'm pretty sure, they know that I know who they are. It's very upsetting to me. This world's a fucked up place. Everyone will point the fingers and say, you're a big pile of shit, you crazy, you dumb, you're this, you're that. And that's not the truth. And the truth is, at least in my case, because I can't speak for everyone, I have suffered, and I've been carrying this alone for a long time. I went to therapy, I still do. I'm trying to go to marriage counseling for my wife, but, she quit caffeine because she had an addiction problem, and I told her basically, like, you can't smoke anymore. I was like, the fact I had to take one for the team so you could, work out your apartment, I'm like, I can't do that for her. I got a home over off of Smith Ranch. All right. I come here to babysit because our marriage is in shambles and she can't afford child care. That's a bummer. And then, like, I make music in between, small pockets of time in between work and cleaning and scrubbing stuff, and people treat me like a lazy bum. I barely have time to just sit and think. And the time I do that is like at night. You know how hard it is to forgive your enemies? The man that put metal plates in my head, I forgave. I got metal plates because I didn't want to fucking run their game. See, I never joined a gang. I have never participated in a gang. I'm going to be honest. I never gangbanged. I knew gangsters, but that's because my parents never watched me when I was younger and just roamed the streets. That's what happens. That's what happens if your parents don't give a crap. They would take me back on home passes sometimes from the fosterage or whatever. And the thing is, I got too old. I remember the saddest thing that I remember growing up was when the people would come in to look to adopt me, and they'd be like, what a beautiful, tan, handsome child. Why wouldn't anyone want this kid? They're like, go ahead, speak up, son. These people think you're a good-looking, handsome man. How do you feel about that? And I would just be like, I'd just sit there like that. I wouldn't say shit. I did that from the age of basically 14 to about 16. There was a man named Ron, and a long time ago, he pulled me aside. He says, you're not crazy, you're not even that bad of a guy. He's like, but if you basically don't, like, start talking, we're going to have to put you in front of a board and send you away because people are starting to wonder. But I know you talk to people because you talked to Matt. He was an old dude that rode a motorcycle, and it was very few I trusted, and that's how I am now. My stepfather once said that if you break his trust, it's almost impossible to get back. That's because I've spent an endless lifetime of being hurt, crushed, abused, used. I didn't run to liquor. I got a father-in-law who's an alcoholic, and I used to tell him, like, dude, you got to quit. Now I just know that if I push on him, he'll just get back at me. This is like the life I walk. My wife is psychologically breaking down, and the man's got to stay strong. And I'm trying to hold the fort up, and she's just like, she's been working too long. And now it's like she can't just drop everything, and she's waiting on this fucking federal program to save her apartment so she can think about getting a house next year. But she's just waiting, and it's messing her up. She cries and says, I don't know how to get ahead. I work so hard, and I can barely do this or that. And it kills me as a man because I make money and I work, but trying to work a permanent job during the day is impossible. I have to work between her funky schedules because she's a server. She was a server at 2 jobs. If she goes to work as a server, you don't know when they come home. They're either getting a lunch or they're not, and that depends on business. I've seen her go and come home in 30 minutes. I've seen her go and come home with overtime, serving. It just depends. And she had 2 jobs like that, and I was telling her, man, you got to quit. We're going to leave that alone. I just want to, share with you, like, what's going on in my life. I had a kid murdered. I don't even talk about my first son. My first love of my life, she killed my son. I don't even talk about it. Then she fucking took him. He's supposed to carry my name, and that shit sits in me. I watched the DNC. I wish I could take back that memory of the doctor. I have been through a lot. I was wandering mainstream. Parents weren't watching me. So God, get blown away with a shotgun. That memory don't leave either. I'm like really unfortunate to have seen so much traumatic shit and experienced so much from my own family. Friends have used me, stabbed me in the back. And you wonder why I grew up so edgy. I really just wanted to make music that was loving and compassionate. Like some Lupe Fiasco, Kick Push, or Gotta Eat. That's the type of shit that speaks to me. But people were hitting me up on PlayStation, like, I'll fucking kill you, rape your wife. And my wife was crying. They're calling me cracker, half-breed, right? Because I'm Lakota, can't have that. And I started believing because I'm white. I am the problem. I started believing what they said. I watched, what was it, Jay recently? They're fucking shitting on Jay. He's always trying to help me, bro. I didn't even know. Alright, clay's off my eyes now. I just wanted to make music to inspire others to think about what you can do with art and creativity and heart and a soul spark. My soul's been re-sparked for the last time. I would trust God with everything I got, Create. I'm so sorry. I'm like a fucking washing machine on wish wash. I'm so sorry, Lord. Jesus, forgive me. Rap community, I'll talk to you next. I understand you want to hear me bitch about my past. I'll never make a rap about my past ever again. Ever. Promise. To every rapper I've said, I'm sorry. You understand hard times, you've seen it. You call me a bitch, it's fine. Whatever. Bitch, whatever. You know what I mean? Whatever. You know, it is what it is. At least I'm keeping it real. That's, real bitch. All right, that's fine too. I study pathology, psychology, human emotions, but I can't diagnose or help myself when it comes to that. It's like a doctor who has cancer can't treat himself for cancer. So when I reached out to people, I thought, well, based off of my knowledge and experience and things that I had learned, of course, walking alone in my life, I thought, like 50 Cent. His book, I was like, yeah, he was dealing drugs and stuff, but he's a different guy now. So I wasn't trying to gauge it like that. I was gauging it like 50 Cent and his adverse effects on how he got in the game. I read it in his book. And it was a very enlightening book. I also read Tupac's and I was gone. I read a lot of books, but I thought 50 Cent seems wise, man. He's someone that maybe if I tag and, but I realized I don't think he ever fucking cared. I think I annoyed him more than anything. I apologize. It wasn't like I was trying to get a handout or a bread ticket. When I tag everyone, it's just because you as a person I believed was good. And those people tried to help me and I shit on them. I'm pretty sure I fucked that off. And I feel so bad. I really do. Because now that I understand that they were trying to help, I didn't even fucking realize it. Because I was so worried about being hated, bound to my chains of my past, it never crossed my mind these motherfuckers care. That affected me. I listened to this Yellow Wolf song, and it made me cry. I just cried and cried, and I haven't stopped crying since. It wasn't so much the beat or how he even rapped, but it was the depth of how he articulated it. I feel like they're trying to tell me to trust God and it'll be alright and have faith in this. And it's just so hard because I was hurt. My wife is important to me and my family. I don't have much. You say you're going to rape and kill my wife? Man, that's very upsetting to me. And it just takes me back to a place I don't want to be. I watched a Mike Tyson short. He said, I cry every time before I fight. And I was like, what the fuck? Like, just taken back from it. Like, whoa. But I said, he's a passionate man. Let's hear him out. And he said it's because he became a person he didn't recognize or wanted to be. He had to instill his body with evil emotions to become the fighter. No wonder he doesn't fight anymore, because he's free. I respect you, Mike Tyson. I never knew that. Hey, I respect. I'm trying not to cry anymore. Like, this is fucking embarrassing, dude. But I'm doing this because a lot of others are doing it that are famous. I'm not famous. I'm just a guy. But I feel like some of them do care. Maybe I was wrong to say, well, all fame. I know there's some. You know, little Tanucci came off real strong at first. Like, he was going to help me and etc. And in the end, he stabbed me in my back. What does that sound like? Tupac. I trusted Lil Wayne. I called him. I trusted Wayne. I trusted him. I trusted Maria, too. I had a bunch of family members pass. I'm not going to mention who. It's not on my wife's end, but my wife's mother needs a heart transplant, and there's no one to caretake her because it has to be a family member. And, you know, that also weighs on me, because she may think I don't love my mother-in-law, but, you know, it was her I went to because she knows God. When I started feeling the weight on my soul, I said, I have to talk to someone that knows better, and I humbled myself. I am a humble man. And I went to my mother-in-law, and I cried to her yesterday, and I said, I never asked you for nothing. I don't ask you for much, but I need this because you're wise in God's word. I need it. And she just let me talk to her, and it was nice because we don't spend one-on-one time. Me and my in-laws. They actually treated me pretty poor too. And father, you know, I'm not stepdad. I'm a father-in-law. My in-law, my father-in-law. You know, we've thrown hands because he gets drunk and he hits me. And the first time he hit me, I let it slide because I don't want to beat that man's ass, because at the time it was just my girl. But I swear, I told him, if you ever put your hands on me, dude, I can't let it slide. He's one of the few people I ever let slide who hit me. There's only 3 my whole life. I've been doing, but then trying, because I'm slipping like Chutes and Ladders. It's just hard. I love music, and I love the world, and I love people. I think about, like, the condition of Africa. How many people in America even go, like, fucking Africa has it worse than me? Like, how many people look at their food before they throw it away and say, I should probably save that because someone in the world needs this? I do that. When I see trash on the ground in my neighborhood, I pick it up. When I see dirt on the floor, I sweep it because I care about who's around me and the environment. Last night, there were raccoons. I saw 2. They were children. I said, oh, those are the raccoons my wife was telling me about. I was going through spiritual awakening, I guess. I don't know. Crying, being a bitch. And I thought, let's feed these raccoons. I went out there. There were 2 babies. I went out there and I thought, okay, no biggie, right? Just some raccoons. No problem. And lo and behold, man, mama showed up like a bear. She was fucking huge. This is a true story last night. I looked at Mom and I said, it's okay. I'll be right back. Stay here. So when I came back, she was alone and the kids were trying to climb up the tree. As they were trying to climb up the tree, I thought to myself, they're just hungry and scared and the mother's protecting them. And this is going through my own metamorphosis at this time. I said, I got some grapes, some crackers, and some wheat bread. And she just wants to feed her young, those scavengers. So I decided that I would produce all the grapes I owned, keep the blueberries, sadly, sorry raccoons, and I would give them all my saltine crackers. And I would give them what I had and half a loaf of bread. And I stuffed it all into the saltine box. First I went out there with the grapes, and on my knee I slowly went to Mom and said, it's okay, Mama Raccoon, I got this for you. And about 4 feet away, she stood up. She was about 3.5 feet tall. This big ass raccoon, Mama was. And 2 babies came down the tree and were watching the interaction. I said, I mean you no harm. I give you these grapes in peace. I threw the grapes out, and the raccoon's fur went down, and she got on all 4s again. She looked at me, her eyes got glossed, and it was crazy because I was like, did this raccoon just see my kind gesture and accept that I supplied what Mother was needing? Instantly, the babies ran over. What was scary about that is the mother raccoon made a noise and daddy showed up. I thought mom was a big raccoon, but this was a big fucking raccoon. And this daddy raccoon was mad. And he was about 4 or 5 feet. Listen, I'm almost like 60. He was a big raccoon. Like, he was above my hip. He was very angry. He made a real big noise to let me know. And he stood up with his arms out, puffed his chest out. He was like, what? What's up, raccoon, dog? And I was like, whoa, man, I just fed your mama. I ain't trying to do all that. I said, yo, you hungry? Do your peeps, is that your family? Are you hungry? And he just kind of looked at me, the raccoon did. This was last night, and I went back in, and that's when I got the bread and the crackers, and I just tore off the tops of it all. You don't believe me, in case anyone thinks I'm a big fucking fibber, because I don't fucking lie. I might be conservative with some things, but I definitely don't waste my time lying. The raccoons were over here, climbing up the tree right there. And I thought, you know what? I'm going to hook them up. And I did. They actually came over here probably. You can see the little cracker right here. Like, does he got anything else? Looks like they even tried to pull those mushrooms right there. But, I mean, they took all the bread and left some saltines. I'm sure they'll be back for the rest of it, since they're nocturnal. But they ate their fill because that box was packed to the brim. When the raccoons came up, there was probably like, it felt like 20 raccoons. I was actually, as a grown man, slightly intimidated. I didn't know when with these raccoons, and I was actually concerned that I had stirred up the hornet's nest, and I did not want to like ruffle the feathers of raccoons, man, because they're fucking, you know what I mean? They got rabies. They'll fuck your ass up. They're pretty big, and there was a lot. I don't know how well I'm gonna do against like a group of raccoons, but I decided that for my better interest, I should split and tell them, enjoy your meal. And I left the box at a distance and didn't walk to where they were because I didn't want to take the chance that the raccoons would attack. The mom and the dad were agitated, and they were protecting their young. The moral of this story with the raccoons is that's how I felt about the death threats that I received about my family raping my wife when she's been raped by her I think it was uncle. His name was Dustin Shope. And then she was raped by some other guy when she was 15. She went out and partying with her cheetah girls. It wasn't Rachel Edwards, it was Amanda, and basically Amanda was getting fucked on some sort of mattress. And long story short, my wife, when she was young, got raped by like an old ass man, and everyone else was like on mattresses, and no one helped her. And I heard that, and it just brought me into tears. So when you say you're gonna rape my wife or do harm, I might stand up like Mother Raccoon or Father or the whole fam. And since the whole fam is pretty much me, I'm Daddy Raccoon, I have to do something just to make sure Mama Raccoon and baby raccoons are fed and safe. It had nothing to do with wanting to like pick fights with famous people. It was to teach you a lesson that I'm a human being and I deserve as much love and respect as y'all do despite your fame. And that's really where it comes from. I don't know if y'all trying to teach me a lesson. I guess you did. Some of you were trying to pull on my heartstrings. I have to believe in that. And for that, I give you love and respect. I'll never, 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 never go backwards. I'll always remember God, and I'll always remember this experience of my life, because I don't think I've ever cried this much in my entire life, and that says a lot, because I cried a lot as a child. I'm a grown man, and I've been crying for 4 days straight. It just comes on and off like waterworks. So I love you, society, and I'm very sorry I've let you down, rap game, and other people. I will continue to make my work and push forward. To those who were family members and etc., I can't divulge myself in you. If you're connected to my real dad or my real mom, they're just too toxic. And just sometimes it's better just to let them go, and that's what I've done. I just let them go. If you see this, just know that I thank you for the time invested. In Jesus' name, respect for the kamikaze.